What is up? Hello. Welcome to Spiritual Real Talk. We are diving in today to a topic that I teased in a past video involving your relationship with your thoughts. I am so passionate about this topic that I made it an entire chapter in my book, Don't Hate, Meditate. This is also, side note, going to be a separate video on manifestation because this cutie did not land in the world because I tried really hard to get a book deal. In fact, getting a book deal was one of the most effortless things I've ever done. Don't get me wrong. Writing a book proposal, writing a book, there's a lot of words in here, was effortful and was absolutely something that I had to dive in and show up for. But the act of actually calling that opportunity in was one of the easiest things that's ever occurred in my life, especially professionally. So we'll for sure dive in and talk a little bit about manifestation and some good hacks to tap into that flow of like attraction and abundance. But let's get into your thoughts and talk about what is, like, as I said, an entire chapter in this book, which is the concept that you do not have to believe every thought that you have. That's literally what the chapter is called. You don't have to believe every thought you have. So prior to learning to meditate, your girl here, and maybe some of you would agree that there was no real separation between me and my thought. So you might be even saying to yourself right now, well, what do you mean there's no separation, Megan? I am my thoughts. They are in my mind. They are coming from me. That's who I am. And what I will just offer to you, you're welcome in advance, is that you are not defined by your thoughts. You're not defined by them, and you absolutely do not have to give them permission to sit in the driver's seat of your life. Every single thing that you've ever done started as a thought. The saying is, your thoughts are the birthplace of all creation in your life, right? There are ample one-liners about this. What you think you become. Where your attention goes, energy flows. I think that last one's actually mine. I think the one before that was Buddha. Same, right? You absolutely can create a different relationship with your mind wherein you are simply noticing when those thoughts show up that are disempowering, that aren't in alignment with what you want. There's a world where those thoughts can be acknowledged and where they can continue to float by. And I had this metaphor come to me. You will learn that I am the absolute queen, self-crowned queen, but queen nonetheless, of a good metaphor. I think it helps so much in understanding these really esoteric quotes and terms and teachings to anchor them in a ridiculous metaphor, sometimes involving like the Spice Girls. So you're welcome in advance for that. The metaphor that came to me one time for this concept that I'm going to share with you involves the kind of scene at a concert. So if you've been to a concert or even like seen an Instagram footage of a concert, you see that there's the sort of general admission where everybody gets a ticket and everybody gets to go to the show. And then there's a backstage and that kind of VIP area. And in that backstage VIP area are all of the kind of power players. It's the artist, it's where the artist goes first and foremost. It's where her immediate team is. Maybe it's her agent or her manager, her parent, her children, whatever else. It's where the most important people go, and it's where the people that have kind of undisputed access to the artist go. And before you can go back to that area, there's usually several checkpoints because, again, that's where the most influential people go. That's where like the VIP, no questions asked people go. So there's, of course, barriers to get back there. Not everybody in the general admission section can go back there. There's free food there. There's access to the artist. It's not for everybody. at those checkpoints, you might see a bouncer, you might see a checklist, people making sure that your name is there, right? There's filters to get through, gatekeepers. And that's because, again, those people have access to the artist. And I want you to imagine for a moment that all of your lovely thoughts, all 60 to 80,000 of them that show up each day, are in the general admission section of the concert of your life. And here's the thing. They all show up. If they showed up in your mind, they bought a ticket, I don't care if it's in the nosebleeds or in one of the better sections, they got a ticket, they showed up throughout your day. They're there. However, not every thought gets the Backstage Pass Ultimate VIP access to you. And that's what I want you to start thinking about. What are you thinking about? What are you thinking about the most? What are you giving your attention to? And is that really who you want in the backstage area of your life? Is that the thought that you want whispering in your ear and having access to the next choice that you make, the next thing that you say yes or no to, the next project that you put your energy into, the next thing you buy, the next person you date, that one, the next, and then, whatever it is. That's how I want you to start thinking about it. I'll give you one other kind of thought to bring in here, one other kind of reflection prompt that I sometimes use, not to bring you too many metaphors, but can there really be too many? I don't think so. So this is the other one that I want to give you. If the thought that you're having was a stock that you were buying, would you be happy with what you're investing in? I know. If the thought you're having was a stock that you were buying, would you be happy with what you're investing in? Because again, whatever you're thinking about is what you are fueling, is what you're giving power to, is what you are letting backstage. So that might look like, as a result of that repetitive thinking, you don't take the time to apply for a job. Or when you run into that old colleague, that former colleague at the coffee shop, you might not say to them, hey, it's great to run into you. It's so synchronistic. It's so funny that I'm running into you because I'm actually looking for a job. Do you know anyone? It's so wild how the thoughts that we think over and over and over again truly do shape what we do or don't do. So I want you to really start auditing and noticing what you are allowing backstage, what thoughts you're giving the all access pass to, and just do a little audit of that. So it might be journaling, it might be sitting in a meditation, but close your eyes just for a couple of moments, maybe right after this video is over, and ask yourself, if you had to imagine the backstage area of a concert and you're sitting there ready to go on, notice what other thoughts are there with you. And the thoughts that are there with you are the ones that you're thinking about the most, right? So do the reflection. Imagine yourself backstage surrounded by the thoughts that you think the most. And just write down what they are. I love the practice of just acknowledging even the really big, scary thoughts, the ones that feel really ugly, the ones that feel really negative, the ones that just are not the look. And you look at them and you say, ugh, I don't want those backstage. But be honest and just acknowledge what's there with you. Acknowledge what is backstage. And then go down that list and cross off the ones that are not the look. Cross off the ones that absolutely do not have your best interests in mind. So the ones that are negative, the ones that are disempowering, the ones that don't support the life that you want to live. And make a note of what is there. When those thoughts show up throughout your day, flag them. Let the bouncer kick them out and redirect your mind to a different thought. So a lot of times what I'll do is I'll make that list of the thoughts that are backstage. If there are ones that are not on the list, that should not be back there, that have slipped through, that had a fake bracelet, whatever it is, notice what they are and just write down the affirmative version of that thought. So if we're going with that same example, let's say you have some thoughts backstage in your mind that are, the economy's terrible, I'm never gonna get a job, there are no opportunities for me. Create the affirmative version. There are plenty of opportunities for me. There is opportunity and money everywhere. The economy is really strong. Whatever the affirming version of that thought is, write that down. And here's the thing with your mind. There are so many ways to leverage it, even if you don't believe it. So your subconscious mind doesn't know the difference between you having a thought and believing a thought. So when you start to find those thoughts, those backstage people that have snuck in, when they start to show up throughout your day, pivot your mind and start thinking the new thought. And even if you don't fully believe it, it will start to have a positive impact on your brain and the way that your brain is perceiving the world. We'll do a whole other episode on that later, on your brain and on ways that meditation can really shift your brain. We're also going to drop some meditations on this channel, so stay tuned for all of that. But for now, take that practice and run with it until we show up and do this again next week. So close your eyes for a couple of minutes after this video is over. Ask yourself, what are the thoughts that are backstage? Write them down. And if there are ones that are not in alignment with you and what you want, create the affirming version and start giving those some airtime. Maybe you even, I do this with a lot of my clients, create a photo, like an image that you can make your lock screen, whether that's on Canva or Word Swag. Create that image with that new thought on it, and you can do it real light or real small so that not everybody that sees your phone knows that you're like reframing your mind around something. But make it your lock screen so that every time you open your phone, you see that new thought. We have to give it more airtime and give it some reps so that we can start to empower it. So take that with you. I hope that helps. I hope that resonates. If you have not already subscribed so that you get that notification every time we drop a new one of these, please go ahead and do that. And as always, drop in the chat what you want me to talk about, and I will get into it for you. That is what I'm here for. Until next time, I'm sending you so much love. Thank you for being here. I'll see you soon.